Now we're out here at the fifth hole, one of our great par threes here at the farms. Always been a great golf hole, something people talked about. Always had, severe bunkers on this hole, which is probably the feature talked about the most before in the old golf course. Andy, in the previous hole, what are some of the things that you notice have changed?
Well, in the original golf course, the railroad ties that were over here were originally installed. And one of the things we've done prior to any of the trucks or even Tim getting out here was going back and looking at photos from the original golf course and noticed that those existed, but the overgrowth was there. And so we've cleared that out to bring it back, as well as the mounding that you see around both the right side and behind the green. Those were very severe in the original course, and we had the photos to show it. And now we've brought that back.
Tim, what do you think with your new hole?
Well, I think we've done some really good things for the average player again, and as well as challenging the very good player. The approach now is more receptive and wider. Will really help the average golfer bump it up onto the green. But the bunkers on the left are still as deep as they've ever been, and so that those iconic bunkers of the farms are still there. And we did a lot of initial, what I call die kind of shaping. And as a personal story to me, probably 10 workers helping me by hand doing all of that shaping. And it was hard work. It was hard soil. It was not fun for them to do all that work. And then after the work was done, after the grass was sodded, about a week ago, a couple of them came up to me and said, "It is beautiful." And so it was very rewarding for me to have those kids tell me that.
I bet it was. So tell me a little bit about the little pop bunker everybody sees on the right. Now that there's sand and grass, it really pops. What's that there for, and how would you use it?
Mr. Dye went to Scotland. A great story about his influence from that, and he loved deception, and so he puts a small bunker to the right, and there's no other sand over there, but it looks like there's sand bunkers everywhere to the right. And so that's Mr. Dye all day long deception. And I think it's gorgeous, and it's Mr. Dye's vocabulary.
One of the things that I've noticed that you're doing this all over is a lot of our greens, since they're the same, they'll have high points that kind of come off, ridges that go to the edges. A lot of our greens kind of slope towards the middle. And on this hole particular, you can really tell how you've influenced that by taking those off the green into the fringes to these high points. And when you look at this green for the first time, you would swear that Mr. Liddy came in and put a lot more slope in these greens because they look overall to be more slope, especially from the tee, than before.
So what Mr. Dye would do very commonly is that he would have the center of his green complexes very flattish, 1 or 2%, and then around the edges of the green, he would rock and roll them in and out, which essentially did many things, but it makes the green actually play smaller than it is, and it actually makes your center putts look like they're going to have more break than they actually do. And so he picked that up a lot from Ross on Pinehurst number 2. There's some influence of that.
Lastly, Tim, the most kind of iconic feature of this hole since I've been here has always been the bunkers on the left on number 5, and you talked about they're still deep. What's a little bit different about them than before?
Before they were very brutal, and also drainage. You had some drainage issues with a storm event, and so we brought the floor of the bunkers up slightly so we could build a swale and have the water go around the bunkers for better maintenance. And also you can walk in and out of the bunkers even though they're very deep. I think, and they point at the target. They're very die-like looking.